So today we're working on a 1995 Toyota MR2. We're going to be replacing the broken antenna, the power antenna. There is a little, I don't know what you call this, a worm gear, I guess. This part right here. That when these things get old, they like to, see that, get that focused. They like to just snap. They like to snap clean off. So here's our new one. First step is gonna be pop your trunk. Okay, that lighting is terrible. Here we go. Alright, so we open up our trunk. Here's our antenna. There's the trunk. So you're gonna wanna pop your carpet out. Carpet, liner, whatever you want to call it. Just kind of pull it back. It should come willingly. Mine did anyway. There's your antenna. Ta-da! As you can see, I've got mine unplugged right now. Because I've already taken it apart to diagnose the problem. And I didn't bother, hooking it back up completely. I just put it in there to keep the rain from getting in. So to remove these things, it's basically this nut right here. I think it's a 11 millimeter. Let's see. I had it already on a wrench here. Yeah. This nut right here, that's an 11 millimeter. At least it is on mine. And of course this little doodad right here. So it should be on there reasonably tight. I don't know if you can loosen it by hand. I had to take a screwdriver with a piece of cardboard or something, to keep from marring it up, and just kind of bumped it. I just gently tapped on it until it broke free. I was real careful not to slip and scratch my paint. That would have sucked. So get that thing loose. It'll just twist right off and come right out. Remove that nut, and this will come free. You just kind of pull it down and out. Now you're gonna have this guy right here, the antenna. Let me see, where is that? Where the heck is it? There it is. Alright. It's kind of... So like I said, this was already out of the car. But this antenna right here will be plugged in there, so you just... There it goes. Okay, so... Just like that. There, it's on. That's how it was originally. So what you're going to want to do is just pop that off. And then this will come out. Then there's going to be this guy, this little rubber hose. You see that? That is just, it's like a vacuum hose or something. It's just, it's stuck onto the bottom. It's really for water runoff to just drain out. But what I meant was it's attached similar to a vacuum line under the hood or something. It just, you pull on it, it'll come off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out and we'll go from there. Okay, so I went ahead and removed the nut and washer here, set it aside. Don't want to lose that, obviously. Unplugged my antenna wire, and I loosened this part up. So this is what I'm talking about. It just, once this is loose, just comes right out, just like that. Also remove this little rubber hose from the bottom, which you might just have to feel for. You can't really see it until you start pulling it out. But anyway, just like so. All right. So here we have it. Here is the antenna assembly removed from the car. So here you can see, and it's on the back side, right? It sat in the car kind of like this. The one plug you have to remove to take this out is going to be this. It latches on the inside, you know, so you'll have to kind of squeeze your finger in there to, you know, compress the little latch to remove it, but easy enough, especially when you know where those things are. Next thing you'll need to do, which actually I'll just show you as I get there. There's another plug right here. I'll just go ahead and remove it right now. So plug it in, pull it out. Boom, done. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to remove this whole assembly, which is, I believe it's just these 3 screws right here, these 3 larger screws. So here we go. Oh, keep an eye on, so this one, inside there, you probably can't see it, but inside underneath there, there's a little nut that, you know, the screw threads into, and it sits in there loose. So once you have this screw out, it could fall out. You could lose it pretty easily. So just be cautious of that. Next one, this guy right here. All right, and that just basically slides off like so. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Don't need that right now. Next, I'm going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. One, 2, 3, and these are all these four outside screws are all the same size. Kind of set them in a pile together. This one, so similar to this one over here that I was telling you about, there's a little nut inside there that is loose. It will fall out. So just make sure you don't lose it. Okay. And that's its own size right there. It's the only one like that. So there's our little nut. Set that aside with it. Okay, so at this stage, this part will come off. Now it won't come off totally willingly. There's kind of a gooey, like gasket, kind of gunky material that holds it together. So just give it a pull, give it a tug, and there it is. See what I'm talking about? Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. And alright, so here are the guts of your automatic antenna, your power antenna. So inside this was that. Okay, it was coiled up nicely inside there. And this is the part that broke off. Here's the rest of it. See? So what happened was, it was when I was powering my car off. I turned my car off, antenna goes down automatically. Got down to about a foot, you know, maybe a little less than a foot to completely retract it, and it just starts going, it starts skipping, like, you know, it just starts skipping because it's still spinning, still trying to pull that down, but it's not grabbing anything. So anyway, I knew I had a problem. So again, here's the new one, right? All one piece, all together. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. You know, again, this part it just kind of sits there, comes right out. Next thing, I'm going to pop this deal out right here, and you know, it's just going to wiggle up, come on out. And it does fit in there. See how it's got this kind of like half moon thing? Sits right inside here. So pretty easy, pretty simple. Just make a note of that. So alright, next thing would be to go ahead and remove the shaft, or let's see what they call it. They call it a rod with cable. Good enough. It's a rod with cable. Woo. And it should, oh, actually I think there's one more screw we need to remove. This screw right here. Pull it out. It's the same size as those others. Put it in the pile. Now, there it is. Actually, you know what? I'm not even totally sure if I had to remove that screw or not. I don't think I did. But anyway. There it is. Excuse me. There it is. So yeah, that's how that works. The motor winds it up. This just gets pushed on up and pulled back down by the motor. Open up our new antenna. Careful not to break this. Set that aside. See how she looks. New one next to the old one. Looks good. Looks like a match. Now, interesting thing. So, for those of you with a 94, 95 MR2, these parts, when you look it up on like Lithia, Toyota, or basically any of those OEM, part manufacturer websites, dealerships, the part number matches up with the 2000 to 2005 MR2s, I guess. Like if you take that part number and take it over and do a Google search on it, it pulls up nothing but 2000 to 2005 MR2. So, the third gen MR2 for whatever reason. So just in case you're curious about that, apparently this part number is shared with the third gen MR2. So anyway, just a interesting bit of information. That was something that I wasn't sure about until just now when I compared the two. So that's good. I'm glad I don't have to send that back. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is my first time doing this part. Like we're plumbing our drain. We're just gonna feed it on down there. Help. There we go. Now, I think what I'll do is put this all the way in. Like that. Alright, so now you got your new antenna all the way in, and you got all this worm gear just hanging out. And this is the part that I thought would be a little bit tricky. When I was disassembling it originally to diagnose the issue. Now, tricky being getting this to nicely coil up back inside here. That could be a bit of a chore. So I'm gonna do my best. And as far as this guy goes, let's see. I'm gonna make sure that the antenna here is pushed all the way down. That way, when you stick this guy in, the gears, the teeth should line right up with the teeth on the worm gear, and you shouldn't have any slack. At least I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope that's how it's supposed to be done. And then obviously we'll see at the end of this video if it worked. Alright, that piece is back in. It is locked right in. The antenna is, let's see, is that all the way down? Yep, It's all the way down. Okay. Alright. Now for the tricky part. Let's see. I'm going to try it like this. Get this in there. Kind of hold it still. And just sort of feed this around. Now I'm keeping pressure. I'm keeping pressure on this piece because it just kind of sits there. It doesn't sit in any kind of grooves or any kind of track. It just, see how it just wiggles around. It just kind of sits there. So, and you can also see that this worm gear is kind of trying to spring itself up. So you might have to, as you go, just make sure it's stacking and not like crisscrossing on the inside. So far so good. Grease all over the place. Good. Good. Whew. Okay. Well, I gotta say that went better than I was expecting for my first attempt at that. Alright, I guess now we're ready for reassembly already. Okay. Take your cover. Since everything else is back in, oops, clear some of that gasket gunk there real quick. Okay. Put the cover back on. It can only go one way. Just like so. Okay, I'm gonna put a couple screws back in place. Keep it secured. Now, I really am hoping that this job was actually that easy. You know how these things can go. You think you just did a great job. Oh yeah, look at me. I'm a mechanic. And you go to turn it back on and it either doesn't or your car explodes. But I don't see where I could have gone wrong there, so there we go. Oh, that came out of here. Again, that part, I don't think that I needed to remove that screw at all. In fact, I'm almost positive because that screw holds this piece right here, which I guess is maybe a ground or something for the electric motor. I'm not sure. But pull that screw out and then this part kind of pries up. It's a little tricky to get that out. If you do pull that out, be careful to not just yank on it because it's pretty well anchored inside. It sits in about, you know, ½ of an inch tucked in there, and you know, it's pinched in pretty good, so you want to just carefully pry it out if you do have to pull that out. Okay, next thing, I'm going to go ahead and put this little nut back in there, shake it around until it sits flat, which it did for me pretty nicely. Get that in there. Now this is the part that's a little tricky because that nut just kind of sits there loosely, so you need to put this screw back in like this and gently start turning it until it grabs. And I got it. Okay. Finger tighten it to the point where I can turn it over without that nut falling out, and tighten her down. Good. Okay. Next step. This doodad. Put that back on. Goes like that. This little hook part slides over the top here and lines right up like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that screw in first. And good. It worked. That means the little nut that's in there didn't fall out on me. That guy in, and this guy in. Now, when I'm tightening these down, I'm not making them real tight, just enough to feel like it's not gonna back out on you. I mean, this doesn't move around much. Plus, it's got these little lock washers in there too. So, yeah, be a bummer if you strip something like that. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget to plug this back in. See if we can see that. So it just kind of tucks up and around in here, and it's a little tricky. There it is. Boom, just like that. Okay. Okay. When you put it back in the car, remember, here's that piece I was talking about. See how it, yeah, the rubber hose just fits right over that. Good. Plug your power back in right here. Good. Slide that through its little spot. Put the washer and the nut back on there. Where is it? So this is this little piece. I didn't show you earlier on because I already had it taken out, but that slides right on like so. Can only go one way really. It's got this little fork. It slides over like that. And that's it. So that's it pretty much. Hopefully we'll find out here in a second, but put it back in the same way you took it out, tighten everything down, and when I come back it'll be the maiden voyage of the new antenna, and I'll cross my fingers. And we're back. Got the assembly back in, the antenna's hooked up, power is plugged in. I attached the rubber hose back in. I have only hand tightened that part down so far. Let's see what happens. Oh. Okay. Here goes nothing. Oop. I'm looking through my screen doing this.
Shot down. My first suspicion and the first suspicion with the intelligence sources.
Shut up, radio. Well, let's see what happened. It sounded good. Nice. Oh, looks like it worked. Looks like it worked beautifully. Okay. Yeah, final test is to turn it off, I guess. Make sure it goes back down, okay? So, it works. Yeah. Perfect. There it is. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helps some of you out there. I know this is a common problem. You know, a lot of people just deal with it. They convert to like an S2000 antenna or something like that. If you have the premium sound package like mine has, you have an antenna in the windshield that does work as a backup, but I gotta say, let's see if I can point it out to you. Yeah, you can't really see it. There's two lines going up the center of your windshield. If you have those, it means you have an antenna in your windshield. But that's kind of, first of all, that windshield antenna sucks ass. I get like one station clear. I don't get any AM stations whatsoever, and yeah, the rest of them suck. Keep it factory. Why not? It's cool. It's original. The Toyota part, I paid about 50 bucks for it. Okay, it's not super cheap. There is an aftermarket one available. I didn't want to go that route just, you know, in case fitment wasn't quite right. You know, sometimes a part like that can be off just enough to make it not work for you so well. But it is a lot cheaper. I think you can get the aftermarket one for around 20-25 bucks shipped. You know, this 50-60 bucks, you know, but it is a Toyota part. It works right, fits right, as you just saw. So anyway, thanks again. Again, if you like this video, thumbs up it if you want. Don't bother subscribing because I don't have anything worthwhile on this channel. This is really just to help you guys. So cool. Peace out. MR2. Awesome car.